a little update on where I am on the finishing of the guitar. I've had a lot of issues here on this stage. You know, I've been trying to build guitars now for a long time, and I'm pretty comfortable with every aspect of it. There's one or two things that the pucker factor is pretty high, but for the most part, I feel like I know what I'm doing, except when it comes to the finishing stage, getting that beautiful high gloss finish. The first step you have to do is, after you've sanded the guitar down to a real fine grit, in this instance 320 grit sandpaper, you have to fill the pores. The pore filling process is what happens next. And rosewood is a very porous wood. And what you want to do is you want to get a compound into those pores and then sand the pore fill, the product that you use, sand it down to where the wood is level and the pores are now filled and are level with your wood, if that makes sense. And the reason you do that is if you put a glossy finish on a guitar and the pores are there, it's the finish that you use is going to seep down into those pores, and you're not going to have a smooth glass surface. It's going to look like an orange peel. So I started with a product called Timbermate Wood Filler, and this is ebony. You can see the product is black, and I put it on the guitar. I rubbed it into the pores, I sanded it off, and the pores were filled, but instead of black, it was gray. And I did not like that look at all. So then I took some rosewood sawdust and I sprinkled that on the guitar, took some shellac, rubbed it in, hoping to just kind of top off that Timbermate and get the dark color that I was looking for. And I thought it was right. So then I decided I was going to do a French polish. That was what I've done in the past. And as I began the French polish process, I realized I had not done a good job filling the pores. The pores were standing out like stars in the night sky. Just, they were sparkly, you could see it. So I sanded all of that off. Then I decided I was going to try a different approach. So I used Z-epoxy finishing resin. Same concept, it fills it. I sanded it off, and it left these terrible stains on my guitar. And I've had this for a long time, so I don't know if there's a use by date. Maybe it's expired, maybe, I don't know. But it left these really ugly stains on my guitar. So once again, I got the sanding paper out and I sanded it down. I've sanded this thing down so many times now that every time I hit it with a piece of sandpaper, I wonder, is this going to be the time that I sand a hole in the damn thing? So I learned a lot. I've learned almost everything that I know about building a guitar from a builder named Robbie O'Brien. And if you've watched any videos online about guitar building, you probably know who Robbie is. I bought his course years ago, and I've learned probably 90% of what I know about building guitars from him. And just a few days ago, I was so frustrated with this. I didn't know what to do. I was going to just put it aside, wait till I could talk to some people and get some better ideas. And then a video pops up on YouTube, one of Robbie's luthier du jour, and he talks about an alternative way, a quick way to fill pores. And he used a product called Aqua Coat. It's a water-based pore filler. So I go up to Rockler and I buy it. I spread it over the guitar, I sand it down, and I now have a really nice, I believe, the grain has been filled and leveled, and it's now time to start the actual, put the finish on. So that was a struggle. That was an absolute struggle, and I'm hoping as I start to apply the finish that I see a nice smooth texture here? And if so, I'm going to ditch these other methods and I'm gonna stick with, right now, look like aqua coat. So now I'm gonna put a wash coat of shellac on here, and then I am going to start applying the finish, and I'll talk about that in the next video. Now I'm just taking some shellac. I'm gonna put just a thin little coat of shellac on here. And this is just a sealer. And we've done the pore filling, and now we just wanna seal that. This is just to make sure we don't get that the grain filler that's in there stays in there. I'm about to venture into brand new territory, folks. I'm going to, in the past, I have done a French polish on my guitars. Today, I'm going to try, I got this from Stumac. Guitar lacquer, clear gloss. I have warmed it up. I've kept it in the sink. Got it warm. I've got everything taped off. I've got the sound hole taped off. And I've got everything over here taped. I got a handle to hold everything. And I'm going to try this, see how it turns out. I've put 5 coats of lacquer on here, and I'm brand new at using this, but I had some drips that I've got to sand out, but it needs to be scuff sanded anyways. And I'm also seeing that I did not do a great job on the pore filling. I don't know what I'm doing wrong there, but I'm gonna just keep plowing forward and see what happens. So now I have some 320 grit sandpaper. I'm just doing a light sanding here, just a scuff sand. I think I'm gonna try to put maybe 20 coats. I've got 5 on here now. I'm gonna just keep building, and I don't know if that'll help fill some of these pores or if it's gonna look like a big orange peel guitar. I do not know. I don't know if you can see the grain that was not filled. But anyways, got a little bit of mineral spirits on my rag here. I think it's gonna look pretty good, maybe, I don't know. Shit if I know. I currently have 9 coats of lacquer. You can kind of see the orange peel that I've talked about. I'm just going to have to live with that. Learn how to do a better job on the pour fill next time around. But this is what 9 coats look like. A nice sheen. But I'm about to, I'm going to wet sand it. Just a little scuff sanding. And then apply more coats. So I've been showing you some videos of the progress on the body. Here's where the neck stands now. It's coming along pretty good. Got a beautiful shine to it. That ebony head plate looks really nice. You can't really see it. There we go. Got a great shine to it. So I'm going to let this lacquer dry. In about an hour, I'll come back and get it. Then I'm going to put it away in a closet in the back bedroom, and I'm going to let it sit and cure for 14 days. So I'll mark on my calendar. In 2 weeks, I'm going to come back. I'm going to buff it and hopefully be able to buff it to a nice high gloss shine. See you in 2 weeks. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. I've only built 3 guitars that I've actually completed. Built lots of guitars that were just good, strong learning experiences. And I've got those hanging all around my shop. Relics, you might say. They were all good learning experiences. But the one thing that I have no experience in, and I've mentioned this earlier, is finishing a guitar with lacquer. And so that's what I've done. I have let this sit up for 12 days. Most everything I've seen online says anywhere from 10 to 14 days is the optimum cure time. And now I'm going to use some some wet dry sandpaper and some mineral spirits to wet it. And I'm going to start with 800 grit paper, and I'm going to sand up to 1500 grit paper. And the whole objective here is just to level this before the polishing process. So again, this is all new to me. I have no idea what I'm getting into here, but let's give it a shot and see what happens. I think the idea here is just to even everything out, level the surface. We'll see. So I'm using some Meguiar's Ultimate Polish. I don't know if this is the right product to use or not. There's a lot of swirls in it. I'm hoping that'll buff out. Well, I'm finished with the finish. At the top, it looks pretty good in the on camera, but if you look close, there's some sanding marks that I didn't get out. Far from perfect, but it looks pretty damn good though. The sides, real nice sheen to them. And the back, well, I like this. That looks good. You can see up here on the upper bout, you can see some of that orange peel I talked about that I didn't correct early on. But look at that. Look at that shine. Same with the neck. Well, I hope you enjoyed this last video on the pore filling fiasco and the lacquer and polishing on the guitar. If you liked it, I would ask you to hit the like button and subscribe. But if you have any ideas of what I could have done differently or should have done differently, or any tips on this process, let me know. I'm still in the learning stage here. Feel free to put something in the comment section if you know more than I do on this. Thanks.